Hi everyone, it's Jung here for Hip Kit Club. Today I'm sharing my first project using the October 2019 Hip Kits. I was challenged to make 3 cards, one of them being a Halloween card, so let's get started. I decided that I wanted to use the Hip Kit Club exclusive stamp, so I pulled out some Distress Oxide inks that kind of match the kits, and some of them we've gotten in previous color kits and some of them I have in my stash. So I'm going to be making my own background panel. I pulled out the leaf image and I'm going to be using Seedless Preserves, which is like a pinkish purplish colored ink, and I'm just going to be turning the stamp so I get a varied pattern. One tip, if you're going to be using stamps for the background and you want to be sure to leave yourself enough room, go kind of in a diagonal pattern and then fill the sides in. That way you have enough room and you get a varied design. Another tip is make sure you stamp off the sides of your page. You don't want to have your design floating around in the middle. And here is my stamped pattern done. I'm going to be working on the next one, and I'm going to be using this stitched heart. I always like to stamp my image off on a scratch piece of paper before I begin on my project, especially if it's the first time using the stamp. And here I'm using my Misty stamping tool, and it helps me keep the lines straight for my hearts. Things will very quickly go uphill or downhill for me, so this tool is kind of a necessity. So I probably could have measured out the spacing of my hearts, but I was feeling kind of lazy, so I just eyeballed it, and I have to say I did a pretty good job. I could also have measured out the spacing for the next line of hearts, but again, I eyeballed it. I have to say we've gotten Hip Kit Club exclusive stamps in the past couple kits now, and the quality is amazing. This particular set is in the October embellishment kit. And if you didn't pick up the embellishment kit, I highly recommend that you do, just for these stamps, especially this heart stitched one. It is super cute. The other 2 colors that I ended up using was Picked Raspberry and Spiced Marmalade, and that's the orange color there. I love how this one turned out. I didn't actually use it on a card on this project because I remembered last minute that I was supposed to use this sketch. But I will definitely save it for another project. I loved how my stamped leaf pattern turned out, but here's another trick that I learned from card making. To fill up some of the empty spaces, I'm just going to add a few dots. I chose to use a Copic marker in a coordinating color. This one is RV66. And it takes a little bit of time, but I really love the effect it gives. And then I realized more than halfway through that I didn't really need to do the middle because that journaling card was going to cover it up. So, alright, so I went ahead and added some foam tape, and right when I was going to stick it to my background, I decided that I wanted to roughen up the edges. And then I decided that I wanted to roughen up the edges of the stamp panel as well. These Pocket Life journaling cards are Hip Kit Club exclusives, and they are perfect for card making. Okay, so to save time on this video, I kind of already had a general idea of how I wanted this card to turn out. I knew I wanted to use the sweater images and the sweater weather sentiment, and that's from the Hip Kit Club exclusive sticker sheet. So I'm going to use the one with the fruit images. That is a sticker. The reddish tone sweater with the hearts, that one is a die cut. And this black sweater is from the chipboard sticker sheet. And these are all Hip Kit Club exclusives. And the sentiment sweater weather just went so perfectly, I had to use it. I really like lots of dimension on my cards, so I'm going to use foam tape in varying heights. And next I'm going to be pulling out some of the colors from the cardstock kit and choosing which one I like best with this card panel. And I decided the purple one looked best. I trimmed the cardstock down and I folded it in half to make it A2 size, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And next, I'm going to attach the card panel onto the card base with foam tape. And I just showed you real quick there that I added some machine stitching to the edges of the stamp panel as well. I wanted a little bit of extra shine, so I am going to take this Lindy Stamp Gang powder from last month's color kit. I really like the gold color, and I'm going to use it to splatter on my background. I ended up pouring a little bit too much out on my Making Memories paint palette. Who remembers Making Memories? It's an older scrapbook company that I used to love. That was a long time ago though. Anyway, so I poured out some of the powder, added some water, mixed it together, and now I'm just splattering it on my background. And I don't want too much on the middle, that's why you see me use that scratched piece of paper. Off camera, I had also added some My Mind's Eye enamel hearts and dots you can see there. Alright, so on to my next card. I was also challenged to create a Halloween themed card, and so I wanted to use this Trick or Treat journaling card from the Pocket Life kit. I also wanted to use the sweater with the carved pumpkin on it, so I decided just to cut out this sentiment. That way I wouldn't have two of the same image on my card. And it worked out because I used that as my sentiment. I'm going to be using that orange Pocket Life card as a layering piece. And the white pattern paper with the black polka dots is one that I trimmed down already, and it's from Pretty Little Studio. I machine stitched around the edges, and then I added some foam tape to the back, and I'm going to adhere it to the purple card base that I made using the leftovers from the first card. This polka dot strip is from the Pretty Little Studio ephemera pack. And then I'm going to be using a lot of foam tape to add dimension and texture. And the sweater, I don't know if I mentioned, is from the Hip Kit Club exclusive sticker pack. So I'm just curious, do you guys celebrate Halloween? We love Halloween only mostly because we have kids. And so I decorated my front porch with a couple of pumpkins that we picked up from the pumpkin patch. And I had a couple of aunts visiting from out of country, and so when they came to my house, they were wondering why I had pumpkins outside. And so I told them they were Halloween decorations, and they just seemed a little clueless. So I was just wondering if you guys celebrated trick-or-treating, Halloween. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen. Anyway, back to the card. I decided I wanted another pop of color, and so this purple piece is one that I trimmed from another journaling card, and I trimmed it down to kind of look like washi tape, and I layered that behind the trick or treat. I added a few sticker hearts, and then this card is done as well. On to my next card. This is where I remembered I had to do a sketch-based card, and so that's why I didn't use my other stamped piece, but that's okay. So I picked a few pieces that I thought would go good, kind of based on the sketch, and I have to admit that I wanted to use that light blue journaling card, but when I stamped my sentiment on it, I messed it up. I kind of double stamped it, and it wasn't looking cute. So I picked another card from the Pocket Life kit, and I stamped the sentiment on it. And I know the Pocket Life card that I chose already says grateful on it, but I wanted to kind of follow the sketch, and I needed my sentiment in a certain spot. Not to worry, I'm going to cover that up with some flowers. So just like the blue card, I'm going to cut it kind of into a tag shape. So I cut off the top two corners, and then I punched a hole. And then I made a hole reinforcer with actually the Pocket Life card that I messed up. I'm going to adhere that to my card base with some foam tape. And then I don't know if I mentioned, but the background was one that I trimmed from another Pretty Little Studio pattern paper, and I added some machine stitching around the edges. And now I'm going to add the floral pieces that I mentioned a while ago, and those are from the Hip Kit Club exclusive ephemera pack. I added this purple sticker piece, and now I'm just trying to fit more in to kind of get that L shape of the sketch. I want to add a little bit more, so I'm going to pull a couple of those acetate leaves, And those are Hip Kit Club exclusive as well. There's a lot of exclusive in these kits, and I am loving them. What about you guys? I only added adhesive to the bottom of the acetate pieces where I knew it would be hidden. I'm going to add a piece of twine and tie it in a bow. And then I will add some more gold splatters and a couple more of the My Mind's Eye enamel dots. And that will finish off this card. Here are all 3 of my cards done. I hope you enjoyed my process video and picked up some tips along the way. It is Sketch Friday, so make sure you check out the Hip Kit Club group Facebook page for all the sketch details. I'll be sure to leave the link in the info bar below. Please like and subscribe to the Hip Kit Club YouTube channel. If you haven't already, I highly recommend that you check out the October kits for all these Hip Kit Club exclusive products. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.